Welcome. Today we'll take a look at a demonstration of the e-invoicing solution powered by Paya that's embedded or integrated into Sage 100 Cloud 2020 edition. The integration that we offer here at Paya, it is integrated into the accounts receivable module as well as sales order and job cost. So today we'll take a look at that integration. And we'll also take a look at the customer portal that the customer will have, or the consumer will have the option of making a payment from. And then finally, we'll take a look at the Sage 100 steps to take to update the general ledger as well as the customer's records. Just kind of a summary for those that are unaware, some of the features that are that come attached with the e-invoicing solution that we offer here at Paya. Just kind of a quick synopsis here. I click to pay email with the PDF of that email associated or attached to that email is included the customer portal that a consumer is able to make a payment to, which we'll take a look at in this demonstration. Also, the ability to process payments both with credit cards as well as ACH payments stored securely on file with us here at Paya. And some additional information here for you to take a look at. These are just a couple of the highlights at a high level. Please contact us for more information here at Paya if you are interested in this solution. So one of the first things that we'll take a look at here, again, it will be the accounts receivable payment processing module. So without further ado, let's go ahead and open up Sage 100. Now here from our main screen, we'll go into AR. We'll go into invoice data entry. We'll generate a new invoice number here. We'll select our customer. Or add a line item here. We'll make this one $100. We'll accept. We have to have a sales account associated with this transaction here, so let's do that. And let's accept. And so we've generated that invoice here. So next thing we'll do is we'll go into the invoice printing. We will make the paperless office output. We'll adjust that to PDF all. We'll print. We'll get a notification here letting us know to go ahead and pull those documents from the printer. We'll select OK. Do we want to print the AR sales journal? Yes. For demonstration purposes here, we'll manipulate the dates here. Oh. And we'll go ahead and print. Do we want to print the gross profit journal? We'll say yes. You can select no there, it's optional. Here we have the option to update AR sales journal. We'll say yes here. Do we want to print the daily transaction register? We don't have to. We can say no. Now, essentially what we've done there is we've gone ahead and we've created that invoice and within Sage 100, and we've sent that invoice over to Paya Connect to the customer portal. That way the consumer now has the ability to see that transaction or that invoice within the customer portal. Additionally, the customer is also going to receive an email, with the PDF attached to that email, as well as a link to make the payment. So here's the email. Now this is a kind of a basic plain Jane version of the email, but you do have the ability to customize the email and customize this template. But as you can see here, we have an attachment. If we go ahead and double click on this attachment will open up the PDF that was generated. We'll slide this over here. The PDF that's generated within Sage 100. And the consumer now has the ability to take a look at that invoice. Again, that invoice was $100. Let's make this a little bit bigger. And we can show our totals here. And if we had freight, sales tax, we would see all that information here. But again, that basic $100 invoice attached to the invoice here, or the email, I should say, for the customer. Also, we have a Pay Now button. We have the amount due, we have the date, and so forth. Again, these fields here can be customized. You can add your logo here to really give that look and feel that you desire there for your business. Let's go ahead and click the Pay Now link. We want to actually make the payment here. When it clicks on this link, he or she now has the ability to make a payment here from this Pay Now link. So, or the Pay Now button. So again, we can see the customer that it's to, the invoice number, the amount due, the date, the line item, the payment methods can be manipulated here. The payment information is entered, again, the card number, expiration date, and or ACH. So either option is available. Either option is available here for the customer to make the payment. And they will just check the box here that they agree to make the payment, or they'll just check our agreement box here and hit submit. Finally, you have a link here to pull up the PDF. Again, that's that invoice that was initially attached to the email. So again, this is the Pay Now link, allowing those consumers to go ahead and click in and make that payment. Again, we're not going to make the payment here. Again, we're not going to make the payment here. We just wanted to take a look at it from this vantage point, but we will go to the customer portal and take a look at this payment here. So again, this is us generating that payment from the AR, or the accounts receivable module, and generating an invoice here for e-invoicing feature. So the next thing that we'll take a look at is the sales order module and how we process an e-invoicing payment through the sales order module. So here again from Sage 100, excuse me, we are within the sales order module. We'll go to invoice data entry. Generate an invoice number here. We'll select our customer. We'll go to the Lines tab, and we will add a line item here. In this case, we'll order 2 of those guys. Actually, let's make it 3. We'll order 3 of those guys, and we'll have a total amount here, $45.84. We'll accept. We'll accept. Excuse me. Now that we've done that, again, still here within Sales Order Module, we'll go to Invoice Printing. Again, paperless office output, we will PDF all, print. We'll okay the notification there. Do we want to print the sales journal? Yes, we do. Again, we'll manipulate the date range here. We'll print. Do we want to print the gross profit journal? We can say yes here. Again, that's optional. Do we want to update the daily sales order, sales journal? Yes, we do. And do we want to print the daily transaction register? Optional, we'll say yes here. Now, again, we've walked through those steps and we will, excuse me, we'll go ahead and print here. We've walked through these steps, and essentially what we're doing here is we're generating that email to the consumer with that link. We do want to update the daily transaction register, yes. We do want to point out the fact that we are sending the email or generating that email to the consumer with that Pay Now link, as well as that invoice as an attachment that is going out there to the customer. At the same time, we're also sending that invoice to the customer portal that's powered by Paya. So all those things that we've just, we're doing here within those steps. So we should receive the email here. We'll go ahead and open up our email. We should receive the email here shortly. And here we go. So we have an email there. Let's just kind of open this guy up a little bit. Again, the email 4584, the Pay Now link, the invoice is attached. So, excuse me, the steps are very similar from the sales order module as AR in terms of being able to generate that invoice and pushing that invoice out to the customer portal. But this is, again, the look and the feel of what you would do if you typically would use the sales order module. Now let's take a look at job cost billing. How do we process the payment or generate that invoice through this module? So let's go ahead and take a look here. Next, we'll take a look at job cost billing and how do we generate that invoice through this module within Sage 100 and push that invoice to the customer portal, as well as generate that invoice attached to the email for the consumer. So let's go ahead and take a look. Here within Sage 100, job cost, job billing data entry, job number. We'll go ahead and find our customer, invoice number. Now notice one of the options here that we'll highlight, but I'll call out at this moment because we glossed over them just a little bit here. But there are features here within Sage 100 that will enable the e-invoicing solution. Now, our customer enablement team here at Paya, we have a white gloves team that'll walk you through that installation process. So we'll walk you through the steps to enable these features, as well as walk you through some test transactions to ensure that you're comfortable with this setup, as well as making sure that the setup is done correctly. But there are a few options here within Sage 100. Again, this is the 2020 edition that you would need to enable to benefit from the e-invoicing solutions that we offer here at Paya. Now that we have this information listed here, we can go ahead and accept. We can accept. We'll close out of here. And very similar to the other steps here, we'll go to job invoice printing. Again, the paperless output, PDF all, print. We get our notification to remove the paper from the printer. Do we want to print the job billing register? Yes. And yes, we do want to update the register here. Yes, we'll go ahead and print that as well. Oh, there we go. So we're done there. So now we have effectively gone through. Now, again, we've just generated the invoice here within a job cost, and we've sent that invoice over to the customer. again with the Pay Now link, as well as having the attachment invoice there. Additionally, we've also generated and we sent that invoice over to the customer portal. Now, what we've done here, again, these are the 3 steps here. These are the 3 features, the 3 modules that you're able to take advantage of the new feature, the e-invoicing feature that we offer here at Paya within our Sage 100 integration, where you can generate those invoices within the AR module, sales order, or job costing module, email that invoice over to a customer, have he or she make that payment with the Pay Now link there at the time, or where the customer can log into the customer portal and he or she can review those transactions and make the payments from there. That'll be our next stop here. So now let's take a look at the customer portal. And let's take a look at some of the features within the customer portal. Again, the consumer will log into the customer portal where he or she will be able to make their payments, see their transaction history, take a look at their vaulted payment information. So at this moment, we're now going to log into the consumer or the customer portal and take a look at the transactions from this aspect. So from the login screen here, again, the username and password will be provided by the business owner to the consumer so that he or she will have access to the portal. Once they successfully log in, they're brought into the dashboard. And the first thing we'll take a look at here will be the vault or the account vault. So what this will do is this will display the payment options that are stored for this customer. And again, the customer has the ability to make payments using both ACH payments or credit card or debit card payments here. And we can see the title of the cards or the account numbers to the last 4 digits, the expiration dates. So we have this information available here for us. The consumer can see this information. They can click on different screens. They can click into the specific transactions to get the details surrounding those particular transactions. So again, with this solution here, the consumers are able to log right in and take a look and use any of the payment information that's stored here, whether it's a credit card or ACH payment, to make future payments. Again, from a PCI compliance standpoint, this is kept behind our firewalls here. So again, reducing the vulnerability and from a security standpoint, completely making this option secure for the customers to store their payment information. Next thing we'll take a look at will be, again, from the customer portal, invoice payments. What does it look like? Where do we go? What's the look and feel for a consumer to make a payment against an invoice within the customer portal? So let's go ahead and take a look at that now. Now, again, from the dashboard here, they'll be able to log in, and we have a few items here on this screen. So under our invoice sections here, we can see some of the transactions. Now, these should be familiar because these are the transactions that we run a little earlier. Here is that job billing transaction that we've run. The first transaction for $100 and the second transaction for $45.84. So our invoices are here and we see the status here. We'll highlight the Pay Now button. If we go ahead and click this button, this will bring us to a window that will give us the ability to make the payments from using one of the account vaults that's stored here. The payment option. So this is the Amex card. If we look over, we can see the Amex card. Or I can use either of the payment methods that are already stored here. Or I could just generate a new one. Either or. But again, the consumer has the choice. So we're not going to actually make a payment here. I just would like to walk us through this. We'll make the payment here in just a second. But we can enter the transaction amount. Whether we make a full payment or partial payment, we can do that here. Again, our button here to check the box here to agree to the payment terms. And then they can move forward with processing the payment. Now, if they would like more details surrounding the transaction, if they click the icon here to expand the screen, again, they can get the details surrounding that particular invoice. The status, the amount, any discounts associated with that transaction, all the information, again, ported over from Sage 100 is now available for the consumer here within the consumer portal. So again, that's here in our invoice section here. So what we'll do is we'll just actually take we'll take this guy here, the $100 transaction, and we'll select Pay Now. We'll put in our amount here to make the payment. We'll put in an address. We'll check our box, and we'll make the payment. We'll go through, once this transaction process is through, we'll see the transaction detail letting us know the amount of the transaction, the fact that it was approved, it was a sale, the consumer's information, the fact that it was key entered, the date, time of the transaction. We can also see the status as being approved. If we would like to email this confirmation to a different address, we can do that. So we can hit email receipt and that goes off to the customer. But as the business owner, you do receive a notification letting you know that a transaction was just processed through your customer portal, and the consumer, again, here through the customer portal, he or she can see that the transaction was approved. They also have the ability to print on a full sheet of paper if they would like to as well. In this case, we don't need to do that, so we'll go ahead and X out of there, and that $100 transaction is gone from our invoice section, because these are, again, our unpaid or open invoices. But if we go to our recent payments, we can see that that transaction has been transferred over. So the system is going to move the transactions around. The customer portal will move these transactions around for the customer very succinctly as payments are being made or updated. He or she can see that information here. And again, once the payments are made, the consumer will receive a confirmation email letting them know that the transaction was just processed through the customer portal. Now, the next thing we'll take a look at here, again, staying within the customer portal, we'll take a look at the payment history. So again, as the consumer, what he or she could expect when they look at the payment history within the customer portal. So again, from the dashboard here, on the left-hand side, our navigation bar here, we have our payment history. If we go ahead and click there, this will bring up payment history for the consumer to take a look at. Again, the default here is in the last 90 days, but these ranges can be manipulated. And he or she would be able to go in and take a look at the different batch numbers, the payment types. It looks like we've been using an Amex pretty much the whole time, but we can see that information, the type of transaction. They have the different filters to allow them to go in and take a look at the different information. And of course, they can export this information in either of these formats if he or she needs to get this to someone else, a different department or something else, or a different format. But again, the consumer has the ability to go into the customer portal and take a look at their payment history. Now that we've seen the customer portal, let's take a look at the steps that the business owner would take to update the general ledger as well as their consumer reports or their customer records. Again, as the transactions are being processed through the customer portal, the business owner will receive an email notification letting him or her know that a payment was just processed through the customer portal. And now we will walk through the steps to pull those transactions back into Sage 100. So back here at Sage 100, what we'll do from AR, we'll go into cash receipt entry. We'll generate a new deposit number. And in the left corner here, we have a new feature here, a new button, and this is to import eInvoice Payments. So we'll go ahead and click this button. We'll get a question here to select the date in which we'd like to import the payments from. So we'll select the calendar and we'll select today's date and we'll proceed. System will then reach out and communicate with Paya Connect and the customer portal to verify which transactions are out there, and it pulls back that there is one eInvoice payment that's been imported. So we'll click OK, and we can see the amount, and that's that $100 transaction that we've processed, which is great. So it pulls that in, and if there were more transactions, we would obviously see the dollar amount impacted based on the dollar amount of the transactions that were processed through the customer portal. At this point, we'll accept. And from here, what we can do is using the lookup tool just to verify, we can select the lookup tool here. We can see the customer. So if there were multiple customers, we would have multiple customers here listed. But we can select, we only have one customer here. We can see the amount that we're pulling in. And we can go to our lines tab and we can see which invoice the payment was made up against, which is great. We'll go ahead and accept. We'll X out of here. Next, we'll go to Cash Receipt Journal. We'll go ahead and print. And we'll have the question here, do we want to update the cash receipt journal? The answer is yes. We want to print the daily transaction register. Sure, we can print that as well. And we've successfully brought in these transactions here. So we'll go ahead and hit print here. And now we've successfully brought in these transactions. Next steps, what we'll do here is we'll take a look at the customer record here just to confirm, and we do want to update the daily transaction register. So we'll take those steps here just to confirm. So again, we'll stay within AR. We'll go to customer maintenance. And we can go in, we can take a look at our customer. We'll go ahead and select Saddleback Community here. We can go to our transaction section, excuse me. And if we scroll down towards the bottom, we should see our transaction. And here's our $100 transaction. And we have a column here for eInvoicing. Selects this, and we do have the option here in this column of yes, which lets us know that this was an e-invoice payment, and the last 4 digits of the card number. So that information is here. Again, we can confirm, and we can, rest assured that we brought in the proper transaction. And conversely, if there were additional transactions in here, those transactions would reflect, and those payment amounts would reflect here as well with the proper customer. I hope you guys are as excited as we are about our e-invoicing solution here. Great opportunities here. We're super excited, and we're super excited to hear any questions or concerns that you might have. So feel free to reach out to us. Thank you again for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day.